Hi all, hope you're well. Welcome to the 7-Minute Business Club again. Back by popular demand, we've got Dr. Arne Rubenstein in the house again. Morning, Arne, how are you?
Good, Brian. Very good to be back here. I enjoyed it last week. I'm pumped for this week, mate.
Oh, good to hear. Listen, it's actually been, we're coming to say this a lot now since really the end of February. It's been a big week, right? It's been a lot of change since last week. And there's this feeling of this is the start of the beginning or the end of the beginning and the start of the middle bit, whatever way you want to put it. When you look at what has happened, as you know, kids starting to go back to school, there's people starting to be able to somewhat move about again. What do you think we could have learned for ourselves from this, particularly with the what we could learn about our kids?
Well, look, I'm very interested, Brian, in not only what we've learned and seen during this period of lockdown, but what we're going to take forwards, how we actually make sure that the lessons and the insights that have happened we can go with. And, you know, I've also had a 16-year-old in the house with me during this period who's now going back to school. And the really big thing that I've learned is that we need to be working with them and rather than, you know, this authoritarian us telling them what to do simply doesn't work and just puts up a bigger and bigger brick wall. And I know that a lot of people have experienced that and really struggled with their especially their teenagers. But then I've also had a lot of people say to me, I really struggled, but then when I let go and actually gave them some space and was able to engage with them and allow them to have choice in what they wanted to do, something extraordinary shifted. And even in the conversation that I was having with you before we came online here, and you're talking about your son going back to school and you actually giving him choice as to when he went back to school, that's very different from you saying, right, it's back, you're on, pack your bag and go. And you know, for me, the really big learning and the, you know, the biggest thing for me overall in this entire period has been around family. And because I've been home with family in the space, in the small space, in a sort of a pressure cooker, it's like, you know, 5, 10 years of lessons have all been compressed into 6 weeks. And it really is, you know, as a man, as a father, to let go. That, you know, the old way that it may have been of like, I'm the man and I'll make the rules in this house simply doesn't work. And in fact, what happened for me when I tried doing that was I just got stuck to one side and the rest of the family sort of started functioning independently of me. But when I was able to let go and, you know, as I say, find a new way of genuinely connecting and listening and doing check-ins and saying to them, okay, so what do you want to do and how can you do this? And being able to discuss it, we were actually able to do something really special. And you know, I'll be honest and say I have a bit of sadness now that everything's, you know, that they're going to go back to school because we've actually moved into a place of working together and living together better than we ever have. And I really want to take that forward. So I want to make sure that I keep taking the time out in the space where I turn off my phone and I sit down with each of the children and the family and we do a check-in and we actually listen to each other about what they've been doing, what's been going well, anything that's been difficult, what they're looking forward to, anything they're worried about, and what help and support they need. And doing that process, which is actually quite simple, and we call it a golden check-in, it has made a world of difference in that instead of us being, you know, every member of the family sort of traveling along individually in their lives and on their paths, we've actually been traveling along as a single unit, listening to and supporting each other, and that's been amazing.
Yeah, that's awesome. Listen, for parents that were on the proverbial hamster wheel and were just, you know, running full pelt, what are some of the signs that would tell them that they were on the right track the last 5 or 6 weeks? Not suggesting they were on the wrong track before, but just a different, more frantic track. What are some of the signs, or what are some of the kind of the mirror behaviors back from our teenagers or from our kids that would tell us that we have shifted, and similar to the shift that you spoke about there?
Yeah, look, I think one sign we can look for is the physical and emotional closeness of our children. You know, are they talking to us more? Are they sitting next to us in the evening, on the couch, those sorts of things. If we think back to a couple of months ago, and the level of communication and dialogue and actual sort of intimacy, whether it's a hug or a cuddle or anything, has that changed? And are they coming to us more than they would have been to actually just talk to us and be with us? And one of the things I really recommend to all parents, and I've been doing, is to just, and we still have time to take this opportunity to just spend time with your kids one-on-one without an agenda. Just going with what happens. And, like I took my kid for a walk and just, he said, "Oh, you want to talk about something?" I said, "No, I just want to be with you." And he was like, "Oh," he was really chuffed and excited. We just went for a walk and we didn't talk about, I didn't ask him about school or what he's going to do or what's happening, just being with him. And then we came back and he was cuddling me, and this is my 28-year-old son who's 6'5", but at any age, just that having one-on-one time without an agenda and without us being distracted and not having our mobile phones is incredibly powerful and impactful for them. They need that, whatever age they are.
No doubt there's some risks that we could fall into our old ways now as we transition back to kids being in school. And, this webinar, this podcast series, as is tailored for everyone, but particularly towards people that are in business leadership and business ownership roles. So that feeling of the need to get frantic again and get busy again to make ends meet is going to be there. So what are some of the pitfalls that we could risk falling back into?
Okay, so I'm aware this is 7 minutes, which means I've got about a minute or so to say this. And I'm not actually going to talk about the pitfalls. I'm going to talk about the solutions. And Great. This is my recommendation, that every family creates a moment or an event. And it could easily be around a meal, a food, because food is such a great way of connecting, and to make the children and everyone's favorite food, or it may be sitting around the lounge or something like that, and to actually have the discussion based on this. What have we learnt during this period? Or what have we seen? And let's make an agreement as to how we want to be going forwards based on the things that have worked well. And let's give every person in this group, in the family, one at a time, an opportunity to talk about this. And Brian, I'm very happy to write down a worksheet process for this and to send it to you, that you can send out or put as a link for everyone who wants it, based on how you set up a space, how you make sure that everybody gets to speak, and how you create some agreements around how you want to be going forwards. So, for example, with my son, who I went for a walk with, I suspect one of the agreements that we will come to is that we will regularly do something one-on-one together without a mobile phone, where we just spend time together. And, there could be a whole set of agreements that come up within the family so that we ensure some of the things that we've done and some of the really powerful realizations that we've had continue on. And then, just to answer your question, if you want to know about pitfalls, the greatest pitfall would be to go back to everything being exactly how it was beforehand. And they actually did a survey in England through, I think it was the Guardian newspaper, and 91% of people said they did not want life to go back to exactly how it was before. Yeah. So it's critical we take the opportunity to create healthy, positive changes. And the best way to do that is to have open discussions and create a vision and commitment for the future.
Yeah, great. I heard a great analogy a few weeks ago that Mother Nature sent us to our bedrooms and grounded us for being naughty as a society, and we had to learn our ways. Yeah. And I think a lot of what you've spoken about was probably a lost art, but something that we have learned ancestrally, like the ability to spend time with your family, spend time with your young, has been done for millions of years. We just lately lost the art of it. And I think that we got to make sure we don't lose it again.
Yeah, completely agree.
Hey, I want to make a mention to it, not because I'm giving you a needless plug, but just because you've offered to me and I've started to do it. So Arne's got an online course right now. And what we'll do is we'll get the link right here, which I'm sure my marketing guys will find a way to do. If today's brought things up that you'd like to delve into a bit further, I really urge you to go and discover more about this. I've started to do it with my family and my kids. And I think it is the ultimate opportunity to actually go through this curriculum, so to speak. I want to call it that because it is absolutely educational. Because it's going to be very hard to do it if you're all mad busy again and you've fallen into that pitfall. So we'll get the link right there at the bottom. Go and have a look at it. Arne, I'd love to do this again maybe next week or the week after and just delve a little bit further into some of the things you mentioned today and go a bit of a deeper dive. And particularly for people that are starting to do that work that you've offered online, I think it will be a really good partnership to that.
Happy to, Brian. Thank you for having me.
As always, thank you very much. And we'll chat soon. See you guys all. And remember, 7minClub, 7minClub.com is where you can get access to all of our videos and podcasts, as well as some of the resource materials, such as the checklist that Arne just mentioned today. All right. Thank you and see you soon.